Hi, Brock Culpepper here with Sheena Prescott, and thanks for joining us in another MI How-To training video. Today's topic is how to install a remote relief valve in a hydraulic system. Notice that we're both wearing safety glasses, and we will work in a safe manner as we perform this lab. In a previous video, we hooked up a four-way hydraulic directional control valve to run the double-acting cylinder on this fluid power trainer. And we'll begin with that setup to perform this lab. Please notice that this training bench has a built-in relief that will protect the system regardless of what we do with the other relief valves that we're installing. Now first, we're going to install a Vickers CT06 pilot-operated relief using hoses with quick disconnect couplings. Now before we proceed with the lab, let me point out that it is not a good practice to use quick disconnect couplings on a relief valve. The danger is that someone may come along and disconnect one of the hoses, which would not allow the valve to relieve pressure from the system. We use quick disconnects for training purposes in our lab, but only because we are backed up by the built-in relief that I mentioned before. So to get started, we'll run a hose from the pressure manifold to the P-port of the CT06 relief valve. The other P-port will remain closed by having no connection. Another way to hook up this valve is to connect this port to the P-port of the directional valve, but since we already have a line from the pressure manifold to the directional valve, we'll just use it. So next, let's run a hose from the T-port of the CT06 to the tank manifold. Now, we'll start the power unit to test the connections and adjust the CT06 to its proper setting. So with the unit on, we'll extend and deadhead the cylinder by leaving the directional valve shifted. And what I'm going to do here is adjust the knob on the CT06 until we see 400 psi on the gauge. So there we are, we're at 400 psi right there. Now, we're ready to install the remote relief, which is a Vickers C175. So, with the power unit shut off, we're going to run a hose from the CT06 vent connection to the P-port of the C175. Then, we'll run another hose from the T-port of the C175 to the tank manifold. And with the power unit back on now, she can adjust the C175 to a setting that's lower than that of the CT06. So she's turning the knob here to a point on the gauge where it registers about 250 psi. All right, in real life, the C175 can be mounted up to 10 feet away from the CT06, thus giving the machine operator control of pressure adjustments from a remote location. Well, there you have it. Hey, if you'd like to join us in a live hands-on training class, you can do so at one of Motion Institute's learning centers located throughout the U.S. and Canada. We also have an entire hydraulics online training series as well. Call us at 205-951-5000 or visit motioninstituteonline.com for more information. Thanks for viewing another MI How-To video. We'll see you next time.